White House, Kristen, thank you very much. Last night, President Obama threatened to veto any Republican efforts that would undo his actions on immigration and other topics, but really only spoke about immigration briefly.
Yes, passions still fly on immigration, but surely we can all see something of ourselves in the striving young student and agree that no one benefits when a hardworking mom is snatched from her child. And then it's possible to shape a law that upholds our tradition as a nation of laws and a nation of immigrants.
Joining me now is Illinois Congressman Luis Gutiérrez, a member of the Intelligence Committee and Subcommittee on Immigration and Border Security. And that's where we start, Congressman. In 6,500 words plus last night, the president only mentioned immigration twice. Did he say enough?
Yeah, he did. He said enough on November 20th. Peter, we're going across the country signing up millions of people for the president's deferred action that saves 5 million people from deportation, that says to American citizen children, millions of American citizen children, the government's not going to separate you from your mom and dad. If your mom and dad are working, are ready to go through a background check and get right with the law. So, look, last year, he said a lot, right? He said, immigration is very important, and he said, if you don't act, I will. And guess what? The president kept his promise. So I'm feeling really, really good about what the president said.
Congressman, the president referred also to the fight between the White House and Republicans, specifically over funding Homeland Security. This matters in the deadlines approaching. What can lawmakers do to negotiate a new spending plan before funding runs out?
Yeah, well, here's what I think we need to do. We need to have the reality. Look, come on. Peter, they don't have 67 votes, which is what it takes to override a veto in the Senate. And we have sufficient votes here in the House to sustain any presidential veto. So why don't we get to the real job and stop jeopardizing the safety of the American people? There are many things. Look, I'm very optimistic. I think that's going to be resolved. Look, we're going to resolve it because in the end, you can't let your politics get ahead of the safety of the American people. But think about it. Paul Ryan, pretty positive, right, on trade and probably on helping our families take care of their children and changing the tax laws. So I think there's going to be room there. And hey, I was really happy because they took my mayor, Rahm Emanuel's idea in the city of Chicago. We're going to give every kid that graduates with a B average, first 2 years, city college, free, because we want everybody to be able to go to college. So it's great to see those kinds of ideas at the local level take on a national importance.
Of course, another item that took on some national interest yesterday was an ugly comment. Congressman Steve King under fire today for calling one of the president's guests last night a, quote, deportable. He was referring to dreamer Ana Zamora. She's a 21-year-old. She's from Dallas, came from Mexico. She's allowed to stay here under the president's 2012 program. Your response to his comments that he said to my colleague Luke Russert, basically we should have a sense of humor and laugh it off.
You know, it's not a laughing matter when the only flag you've pledged allegiance to is the American flag. When the only country you know is the United States of America. When you love this country, when you're an American and everything but a piece of paper. And you know, eventually, we're going to get them that piece of paper. But let me just say this. Republicans, I believe, are going to work. I'm an eternal optimist, but I'm also a realist in terms of talking to my Republican friends. I think they're going to turn the page. This is an ugly page that we have to turn. I think
Does he need to apologize?
I think we're going to get something.
Should he apologize?
I think, look. What can you say? What can you say to people like Mr. King? They are lost. They are lost. They are regrettably unretrievable in this fight and this march towards justice. And so what I'd like to say is there are dozens of other members of the Republican Party and obviously many members of the Democratic Party. Let's coalesce with them because there are always going to be the outliers that you're just never going to. Look, he can't see the fairness and the justice because bigotry and prejudice just clouds his vision of this beautiful young lady.
Congressman, the potential for coalescing here exists on issues like potentially a trade deal with Asia, the TPP. The president's position more in line with Republicans than it is with Democrats. Would you support such a deal?
Look, I think if you can, I think the president hit it right on the nail yesterday. He said, look, we can have trade deals that protect American workers and that are fair to American workers and that are fair to workers all around the world. I was, I'm so happy because, again, here's the president yesterday.
So you would support this?
Right, positive. No, I want to work with this president of the United States to get such a trade deal done. I think we need to stop simply. Here's what the president said to me yesterday, as I heard, as one of 300 million Americans, right? He's our leader of all of us. I think he said, Luis, America, before we say no, can we listen to each other? Can we first begin to see if there is value? And I'm ready to listen to what you have to say. So with a president like that, obviously, I'm ready and happy. Look, minimum wage. I want to say, Peter, I took out my calculator as I was listening. The federal minimum wage is about 15 grand. I'm happy the president brought that up. That is what a member of Congress makes each and every month. And we expect people to live an entire year on what a member of Congress earns in a month. I think that's shameful. I'm happy the president brought it up.
Congressman, you make a good point. Before I let you go quickly, can we trust the Cubans, with the president calling for the trade embargo to be lifted by lawmakers, can we trust the Cubans to make real reforms, including those on human rights?
Peter, you hit it on the nail. If people are still in jail, if you can't have publications, if there isn't a free internet, if there isn't, how would I say, open expression of your ideals,
things don't exist.
Look, well, and that's a real big issue for me as I listen to the president propose that. So again, I'm gonna listen to see how this might, but how would I say, I'm very skeptical that we can have freedom, that we can have freedom of expression, that people who are languishing in jails in Cuba, we need to do more. Good step, right? We got Grossman back. He's back in the United States. We took a definitely good step in the right direction, but there are still thousands of more languishing in jails.
Congressman, we always appreciate your time and nice to visit with you today. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We also want to encourage you to make sure you watch tomorrow.